Hey guys, I wanted to show you this. I took the files from Alexei Varanich and I pulled them into Illustrator and made 2D files out of them. Noticing that the gateways seem to be built in layers, like a layered cake, and so I wanted to separate the layers and figure out like how they thought about the construction. I sent off the separated Illustrator files to get some laser cut acrylic sheets made. I made these action figure size and I just wanted to get a sense of the layering. The layering isn't accurate to scale, but the layering is accurate to the number of layers used in construction. I just wanted to see if anything dawned on me in person as I rebuilt this in real life versus just virtually. I had this printout of a 6-foot human being in action figure scale. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to print it out action figure size. There aren't that many photos of a human being standing directly in front of the sun gate. I think it helps to understand the scale of what we're looking at. This was fun, but I was ultimately unhappy with it, and I wanted more of a building block size, so I printed it out as a 3D print, more accurate to the dimensions, and I just love the details of Viracocha. I love the details of the sun gate. It's just amazing. And then I have the 6-foot human again as a representation next to it. And then here's the structure that I built. And so the T-shape opening, I found this photograph in a book, and it says that it's a whistle, but it represents a house. And so one of the things I thought, it's the only representation of a house that I've seen in Tiwanaku style. So tried to pay homage to that in this design here. And I think it's actually something you could legitimately do with the blocks. I only built a facade, and after I did this, I wanted to get back to the computer pretty quick and play around with the blocks some more. I also started to get a sense that I wanted to stick to the principle of things being designed in threes. 3 doors and a third window up at top there. And then there were blocks that I could find, not that I created, that could make this happen. I think it's very reasonable to consider that there would be 3 miniature doorways on either side of the larger 3 doorways. Moving on to this L block, which I'm not even sure that this L block is even real, but if it is, it seems like you could pour molten metal through the L-shaped block in those 3 holes down into the sandstone block to secure the 2 blocks together. I'd like to hear what your thoughts on that are. I used these 2 little blocks to mimic the double T over the doorway opening. I thought that worked pretty nice. And I didn't have to do anything to make that work. It actually sits really nicely on top of the smaller gateways, and when you do that, that size ends up being the same size as the larger gateway of the sun, which I thought that was just really kind of an amazing alignment too. Ultimately though, I think there's many different options for the facade. This stone that has the shikana, the 2 shikanas on it, and an implication of a 3rd shikana, also makes a great entrance piece. I think adhering to a principle that of thirds, that their grid work was somehow divided up into thirds, that the representation of the doorways are in 3s. I think the number 3 plays an important role in this civilization, not only culturally, but mathematically in principle, architecturally, in design elements. The shikana itself is built on a principle of 3 and relates directly back to the stories it tells. Moving on to the space in between the entrance and the gateway itself, that little hallway at the beginning, I had a thought that maybe these blocks that you find with the little channels carved out in the corner, they might align with the holes that you see in front on the gateways. And if you align the blocks, if you find the right block for the right gateway, because I did that angled one at first and that didn't seem to work. So I'm deleting it here, and then I'm using this curved one, and that one actually works really nice. So what I was imagining, you could put a stone or maybe a metal facade on the front and then pour liquid metal down into that channel that you see on the front of the gateways, and that would make it pretty secure. It's not going anywhere, but if it does break off, it's just breaking off that front corner. It's not tearing down your entire structure. I'm curious about your thoughts on that. It seems to me that they were very advanced with the pouring of metal, molten metal. And I do feel like building it out in building blocks first helped me kind of visualize where I was going to go with it from this point. I do feel like there's just so many options that there are a lot of possibilities for the facades. That's really all I have for you guys today. So I'll just finish the visualization again with my friend playing the piano. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.